Well, guys, that's the way it goes. That's the nature of college football. This is what you sign up for. This is why you play the game. Texas A&M loses to the Texas Longhorns in Austin on Black Friday evening, 27-17. Told you guys all season that I would be here through the wins and through the losses, through the sickness and health, and we're still here. Texas A&M still it feels a little bit like the world is ending right now, but there's reason for optimism. The the sun will still rise tomorrow. Texas A&M sitting at 11-1. They're still a lock for the college football playoff. And as for me, sitting here, where it was back in August, I had Texas A&M going 9-3. Obviously, A&M has far and away exceeded those expectations. So just trying to keep it into perspective for myself. Um, but it doesn't matter. It's disappointing. It's disappointing what we saw from A&M tonight. I think what was most disappointing for me is the offense. I thought, as good as A&M has been offensively on the road this season, that was actually an area that I was pretty confident in going into this game. But Texas, once again, that Longhorns defense, it continues to be good. They continue to be consistent year over year. Obviously, Texas having a little bit of a down year this year compared to previous seasons, and A&M having one of their best seasons in uh, basically 30 years, and the Longhorns still get them. So yeah, just disappointing loss. Really thought A&M was gonna obviously do it this year. Obviously, you want your team to win every game, but just really thought they had a shot this year. And but yeah, kudos to Texas. Those guys. I mean, Sarkisian, what he's been able to do there since he's gotten there is just built a really physical team. Guys who get physical and can just play up to really any team in the country. So yeah, kudos to them. Final score 27-17. And for those of you who might just be checking out or stopping by for the first episode, this is the first loss post game episode that I have recorded so far this season. And honestly, I'm very fortunate to say that. It's I've said it all season. It's been an absolute blessing every single game. It still is a blessing. Just so thankful for what A&M's been able to accomplish this year. It's been a long time coming, and just yeah, super stoked. There's reason for optimism, and they hopefully with this loss, A&M able to come back to earth, maybe a little bit, get grounded a little bit, go back to work. And then we'll see what they field there in the playoffs. But also with this loss, I think it stings just a little bit more because now A&M does not have a shot at the SEC title. Obviously, they had to win this game to clinch up the SEC title game, but that is no longer in play. So the next time we see Texas A&M play will be in the 12-team playoff format. So interested to see how the dominoes fall the rest of the way for A&M as a one-loss team. But tonight, I think Marcel Reed, we've been talking about it all season. He has struggled to really be consistent. He struggled to stay consistent when he gets into rhythm. When he's hot, he's, looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But when he gets cold, he just struggles mightily. And I think tonight, for me, it looked like the offense really struggled to ever get in a rhythm. I think they shot themselves in the foot several times situationally. One time that I can remember off the top of my head was the 4th and 1 in the third quarter. I believe it was late in the third quarter. It was a 4th and 1. Kind of felt like the game was getting out of hand a little bit. I believe it was 13-10. Texas was up, and A&M was looking like they were going to go for it, but instead they took, I believe it was a false start penalty or a delay game penalty, and obviously knocked them out of even being able to go for it on that 4th down. So I think situational football and being disciplined in those situations is simply what separates teams in a lot of these games. And situationally, I think tonight A&M wasn't very good. And then even in the fourth quarter, your score is 20 to 17, and looking at a 3rd and 8. The Texas Longhorns are looking at a 3rd and 8, and then Cassius Howe jumps off sides, and no longer a 3rd and 8, but a 3rd and 2. Felt like, in that 3rd and 8, it's like, okay, obviously A&M's been really good in these 3rd downs, these 3rd and long situations all season. Obviously, that was a huge, huge situation. And Cassius Howe jumps off sides, makes it 3rd and 2, and then Arch Manning chews up ground with his legs, ends up running it in for a touchdown. So I think for Texas, obviously they just made more plays tonight. They played, I think, better situationally. The situations that they found themselves in, they played better. And A&M shot themselves in the foot a lot. Obviously, Marcel Reed turned the ball over twice there in the late in the fourth quarter. Really, when the game was kind of out of reach, felt like it was out of reach. Anyways, I believe both of the interceptions came within the last 6 minutes there in the fourth quarter. So yeah, just unfortunate situation. A&M just coming up short. And looking at the final stats on the night, really, I mean, both teams really competitive. They both had the same number of first downs with 19. Third down efficiency, they were both 4 of 13. Um, Total yards, Texas edged them 397 to A&M's 337. A&M had 180 passing yards to Texas's 179, and then rushing, A&M had 157, and the Longhorns had 218. And even as far as penalties go, A&M had 8 for 62 yards. Texas had 7 for 78 yards. Uh, Even A&M, they won the time of possession battle with 32 minutes and 15 seconds, and Texas held the ball for 27 minutes and 45 seconds. So really, really competitive. Obviously, the score is not going to show that. Texas kind of took off with it there later in the fourth quarter. But just yeah, this is what you get in these rivalry games. This is the way that it goes. And so my takeaway, obviously, as I said, extremely disappointing. Obviously, you want to go out with a win, especially against your rival with the SEC championship game on the line once again for the second year in a row. If you guys remember correctly, A&M, if they would have won last year in Kyle Field, they would have been able to go to the SEC championship game. Obviously, Texas ended up winning. Texas, they won't be going to the SEC championship this year, but to A&M, they were in position to do it with just winning this game. But that will no longer happen. So I think for me, moving forward, something I'd like to see from Marcel Reed is to just take better care of the football. He's really struggled, I think, with turnovers here in the latter half of the season. I think he started off really well, started off consistent, but just hasn't really been able to hold it up here in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I think A&M moving forward, especially into the playoff. Obviously, we'll get into some of that later once we figure out what that's going to look like and how everything lines up after the conference championship games. But would like to just see less turnovers from Marcel. I think if you want to play championship level football, you look at quarterbacks across the country with who are playing championship level football on championship level teams. They're committing less turnovers. And I think for Marcel to take that next step would be a huge improvement immediately. And then obviously I think the absence of Le'Veon Moss was missed tonight. I think Reuben Owens did what he could. And I think in terms of physicality, the way that, talking in the preview episode, A&M just got absolutely beat physically all game last year for the first Lone Star Showdown in a while. And then I think in tonight's game, I think we saw A&M obviously go into halftime with a lead in this game, and I thought they were playing pretty good football, all things considered. And then in the second half, the Longhorns just took it to them. Contravion Wisner just took it to A&M once again. He was their leading rusher by a wide margin tonight, chewed up over, I believe, over 125 yards on the ground, and just really took over in the second half. Arch Manning, yeah, he played much better football in the second half than he did in the first half, and that was a huge concern. Is just to just try to contain Arch because of the good football that he's been playing recently, and A&M wasn't able to do that. So we'll see. We'll see how things line up, shake up in the next couple weeks. But as I said, I really, looking at it on paper, I don't have much to complain about. My expectations, my personal expectations, have exceeded. This we're exceeded this year with A&M. Um, Obviously, I know there's some Aggie fans out there that this is just leaves a sour taste in the mouth, and I 100% agree. I'm right there. It's never fun to lose a game like this when you're in a position to do what Texas A&M hasn't done in a really long time, and feels like you just fell short. Obviously, on paper, you're still sitting at 11-1. You're a lock for the college football playoff, but it still sucks. There's no way around it. But for those of you who have tuned into this episode, that's just my initial raw thoughts on the game. Um, I don't know that there's much else that can be said. Just really disappointing performance. The absence of Cassius Howell and kind of the defensive line that we've seen from A&M all season was something interesting tonight. I think, we've seen them kind of take over games and just be game wreckers, and that didn't happen tonight. And so that's something I'll be keeping an eye on moving forward. So we'll see how things pan out. So for those of you who have made it this far into the episode, thank you. If you're checking out the channel for the first time, please subscribe. Please leave your comments below with your thoughts. Obviously, this is all entirely my opinion, my observations. So, yeah, please like, subscribe, and stick around as I plan to keep this thing rolling, even as we approach the off season. Just been a special year for Texas A&M, even despite the way that even despite the way the regular season ended. So, anyways, with that being said, I believe I will sign off for the evening. So, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. For those of you who have supported the channel all season long, thank you for your viewership and the time that you've taken to show attention to this channel. So, thank you. Gig 'em always and forever. God bless.